Hi everyone. Who remembers the ad slogan, "Bet you can't eat just one"? You have to be a certain age to remember that ad slogan. I am that certain age, so I do remember it. I did have one person today in my private group who came up with the answer. And for those of you racking your brains going, yeah, I remember that, but what was it? Lay's potato chips. That's the thing that had the ad slogan, "Bet you can't eat just one." And I would not take that bet because that's a bet you probably would end up losing. My name is Christine Garrison. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a health coach and I help midlife women take small steps in their health so that they can feel younger as they get older. And that's what I'm going to be kind of talking about today is why can't we eat just one? Because they're right. It's pretty darn hard to only eat one Lay's potato chip. So why is that the case? Why do we as humans tend to self-sabotage quite often on these potato chips or cookies or ice cream or cake or brownies or whatever, any of these kind of foods? What makes these foods so irresistible and so likely to be self-sabotaging, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. And the number one reason why you can't eat just one is because that food was designed specifically for you to not be able to stop at one. Okay, and I mean designed by scientists and researchers in a factory, in a lab, having people in MRI machines looking at your brain as you are eating that food, and they look at all the things that are firing to see what's going off and looking for that bliss point. There's a bliss point they're actually looking for. And it's a certain combination of sugar, fat, and salt that makes you kind of go crazy and not be able to stop at just one. So there's nothing wrong with you, there's nothing wrong with me, there's nothing wrong with anybody who can't stop at just one Lay's potato chip. That's pretty much, how it was designed to be. So what can we do about it? By the way, these foods, all of these foods with the sugar, the fat, and the salt combinations are called hyperpalatable foods, and they are literally specifically designed to keep you wanting more and more. That brings me to another interesting thing that I think kind of probably has some misconceptions about. When people think about these kind of foods, a lot of times think, oh, but I love ice cream or I love chips or whatever. It makes me so happy. It gives me that dopamine reward. Lots of people have heard dopamine and know that it's tied to reward. Well, yes and no. It is, but here's how I like to kind of break it down. So these super hyper palatable foods are meant to hit those dopamine sites in your brain, and that's your kind of like primitive survival mode part of your brain that it's like, oh yeah, that tastes amazing. I want more of that. So those foods give you instant gratification. They are meant to give you instant gratification. They give you pleasure, absolutely. And they leave you feeling like, ooh, this feels good or this tastes good. I want more. Dopamine is the molecule of more. I want more of that. Happiness is different. Happiness is, this feels good and I'm content. I don't want any more. I don't need any more. I'm good where I'm at. So these hyper palatable foods give us instant pleasure from the way they taste, but they're not necessarily giving us happiness. Those are different things. And if you've ever gone through an entire bag of Lay's potato chips or an entire gallon or pint or whatever of ice cream, when you finish it, you're probably not happy. And you're certainly not feeling pleasurable anymore. You're probably feeling maybe a little nauseous and sick at that point, and you're certainly not feeling happy. But they do give us the instant gratification and the sensation of pleasure, and that dopamine is responsible for you wanting more, which isn't necessarily the same as happiness. So now that you know that, great, what am I going to do with it, right? So the thing I think is awareness is always key. So for you to be aware that all these foods, these chips, these ice creams, cookies, cakes, candies, all that stuff is literally designed for you to want more of it. It's like when you're out at the grocery store, I'm kind of like this with the ice cream aisle, Me's ice cream. Looking at it like that going, I see you, Ben & Jerry's. I know you taste good. I've had you many of times. I know you taste good. But I also know you leave me kind of wanting more and more and more. Okay? So being aware of it, deciding and choosing, well, when do I want to have that instant gratification pleasure, right? Knowing that it's not the same as happiness. That's not going to replace happiness. But occasionally, you like to have some Ben & Jerry's. Nothing wrong with that. So the awareness, and then knowing that these foods you're gonna want to keep eating them. So instead of buying the massive family value size bag of Lay's potato chips, maybe you get the one individual small bag of Lay's potato chips if you happen to want some Lay's potato chips that day. So if you finish the bag, it's this size rather than this size. While yes, I understand the family size is cheaper. It's cheaper in the short term. In the long term, health-wise, it's a heck of a lot more expensive to your health. So if you kind of can look at it that way, that may help you with the cost adjustment there. So the whole reason I'm even talking about this today and self-sabotage, I've been working on self-sabotage for the last several weeks because in the next couple of weeks, I think it's like 2 weeks or so, the beginning of May, I am planning on doing a free 5-day challenge, which is Stop Self-Sabotage. So that's the name of the challenge, Stop Self-Sabotage. It's a free 5-day challenge. So I've been all in the self-sabotage world lately and how to stop it. So next week and the week after, I'm going to do a few more Facebook Lives kind of around this topic. But then when the free 5-day challenge comes, that's a little bit more formal. That will be something that you actually need to register for. So I'll have like a registration page that you fill out, and that will all be happening within my private Facebook group, which is a women's only group. So sorry if any guys are watching, but that is a women's only group. That's where I'll be doing the free 5-day Stop Self-Sabotage Challenge. And every day there will be handouts that we'll go over and exercises for people to work on to kind of help them on the road to ending self-sabotage. So that's kind of all been in my mind lately. I thought I'd do a couple of these to introduce the topic to you and talk all around that. So hope you found this interesting and learned something today. You do not lack willpower. There's nothing wrong with you. The food was literally designed to make you want to eat the entire bag or the entire box or the entire whatever. So just having some awareness and maybe keeping the bag and the box as small as possible or not even in your house at all, and you have to get in your car and go drive to get it. Those are some strategies to help you. If you have any comments or questions, go ahead and leave them down below. I'll try to answer those, but I will hopefully be seeing you next week. Like I said, next week I'll probably do at least 2 or 3, I think, Facebook Lives next week on similar topics. So hope everyone has a great day and see you later. Bye.